According to the San Antonio Police Department's crime tracker map, within the past 3 months, there's been at least 1 report of aggravated assault and a dozen reports of assault within 1,000 feet of the Hearthstone apartment complex. In many cases, officials say the suspects watch their victims from a distance with binoculars. The victims so far away that they don't even know what's going on. Evergreen Lube owner Mahmoud Kadar was down in the oil pit. He had just began to drain the oil from the 2010 Honda when he saw it rolling backwards. The oil plug still in his hand. Out here at Johnston Branch Library, it is safety first. All the voters getting these plastic blue gloves so that they can wear them and not actually touch the screens. Hey, good evening, Steve. You're here at Paramore. The champagne is definitely flowing. This is where a lot of the local Democratic candidates held their campaign watch parties. The medical examiner's office is on scene right now in the process of removing the victim's body. This after investigators spent hours here on the 7600 block of Terraza, combing through this area, looking for evidence and also speaking to neighbors. They're trying to get some surveillance footage from any of these homes here nearby. San Antonio police were busy overnight, responding to at least 4 illegal street racing events. They happened at intersections like Pecan Valley and East South Cross, and Houston and Cherry Streets, where police say the vehicles blocked a fire truck. Then there was Culebra and I-10, where witnesses say more than 100 vehicles crowded the area. And finally, Bandera and Skyview, where this happened. The Sanchez family lives nearby and was preparing to go to bed when the sound of loud noises like screeching tires and bullhorns jolted them awake.
And I see like a lot of people here running and jumping, and they're just spinning over and over.
There was even girls announcing with the big black sign banner, walking up and down like all sexy, doing their thing.
In the year the family has lived here, they say they have heard other cars speeding down their street.
Chargers, 5.0, trucks.
But nothing like last night's display. Police say some racers even threw objects at patrol cars, breaking windows. One officer minorly injured after being struck in the head with a beer bottle. They say it was thrown by 20-year-old Jesus Torres. He's been charged with assault on a peace officer and evading arrest. 2 others in his vehicle also charged. From start to finish, Sanchez says the entire fiasco took about 10 minutes. When it was all said and done, police were able to make 14 arrests and issue some 70 citations. The crimes included evading arrest and reckless driving. And if you take a look, you can see a web of tire marks still left in the middle of the road. Officers also say they confiscated several weapons and towed numerous vehicles from the scenes. Tonight, SAPD saying it will not tolerate this activity and asking anyone who witnesses it to call 210-225-TIPS. Deven Clarke, KSAT 12 News. EC Steve, we are out here at Travis Park, but today's protest started at San Antonio Police Department headquarters. Then the protesters marched to the Bexar County Courthouse, back to SAPD, and now here at Travis Park. Right now, they're all holding their fists in the air in a show of solidarity. They were earlier chanting no justice, no peace, no racist police. One protester took a holistic approach, burning sage, the crowd growing to what appears to be more than 1,000 protesters right now. They all laid on the ground earlier, also chanting I can't breathe. They spoke about how uncomfortable it must have been for George Floyd during his last moments, and the demonstration still growing. But marching and chanting aren't all they're doing to ensure that anti-racism policies are implemented and police brutality ends.
I just don't think there's a better opportunity than now to get people registered to vote. Right before I came out here, I stopped by the county voting office where I took a test and I became a deputy registrar, where I'm now able to help people register to vote.
United we stand! United we fall! United we stand!
And we understand that protesters plan on demonstrating daily. They also say that they plan on keeping these demonstrations peaceful. Hopefully nothing like what we saw last night. Of course, we know that San Antonio police say that they were forced to fire rubber bullets, wooden bullets into a crowd. San Antonio Police Chief William McManus released a statement, and we have that on our website, KSAT.com. For now, reporting live at Travis Park, Deven Clarke, KSAT 12 News.
We had to rent a motel for 2 days, and we don't even have that kind of money.
Steve Rocco says because of health reasons, he and his family were forced out of their Spanish Spur apartment home Sunday evening around 6 when the power went out.
My baby is on a ventilator. She was very ill. We lost all our groceries.
Rocco and other tenants like Joshua Algren say this isn't the first time they've been left in the dark.
Almost once a week, the power goes out.
Like Rocco, Algren says Sunday's outage left him dealing with health issues.
I also am on a breathing machine, so my machine shut off, so I couldn't breathe.
Tenants tell me it took 26 hours after the power went out for management to bring in these generators. But the problem is they're unreliable. They say the power went out again and didn't come back on until early this morning. We contacted CPS Energy, which had no reports of outages in the area. Today, the property manager, who has been on the job for just under 2 months, admits the issue is internal, but says it will be resolved soon.
From my understanding, they say 2 to 3 days. I can't quote you on that, but that's what my conversation was with the electrical company that we hired.
But after hearing similar promises before, tenants here are not holding their breaths. On the southeast side, Deven Clarke, KSAT 12 News. Eastwood Community Baptist Church deacon Earl Jameson has a history of cancer in his family.
My mother died from cancer. My brother died from cancer.
As Jameson got older, he would routinely have to have benign polyps removed from his prostate.
Doctor told me, said, you're a candidate for cancer, but it's not there yet.
One day back in 2014, Jameson noticed that something wasn't right.
My side right here kept pushing out. And when I went to the doctor at Bamsey over there, they checked me, they said I had a hernia.
Though painful, the hernia may have saved Deacon Jameson's life. When he went in for hernia surgery, the doctors discovered an even bigger issue, prostate cancer.
When you have prostate cancer, you don't know it. You don't feel it. It's just like a normal person.
The cancer was in its early stage, and 30 days following his hernia surgery, Deacon Jameson was back on the operating table.
They said the best way was to go in and clean me out. And that's what I agreed to.
While successful, Jameson's surgery left him with some issues.
I have what they call a leakage. I have to wear pull-ups.
Still at 74, he counts his blessings, knowing he beat the disease unlike his brother.
He waited too long until there's nothing they could do for him.
With a renewed lease on life, Deacon Jameson spends his time helping Pastor Andrew Roberts run their beloved Eastside Church and praying for the healing of others as chaplain with the Disabled American Veterans, a walking testament of early detection with a message for other men.
I don't want y'all out there today to wait too long where the doctor can tell you, well, we can't help you.
A few days ago, Deacon Jameson received a clean bill of health during his yearly checkup. And according to the American Cancer Society, the 5-year survival rate for men with localized prostate cancer is nearly 100%. So go get checked if you're 40 or over. Also, go to ksat.com for more statistics and information on how you can donate to the cause. Reporting on the East Side, Deven Clarke, KSAT 12 News.
Giovanna was very passionate.
Almost immediately after enrolling in the Salon Professional Academy, 24-year-old Giovanna Barrera gained a reputation as someone who gave it her all.
She knew that this was what she was going to do the rest of her life.
Well-liked and respected by her peers, her well-rounded talent suggested that she'd go on to become a successful cosmetologist and esthetician.
She really loved it all, but her focus was hair. She loved doing hair coloring.
Early Wednesday afternoon, Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar says Barrera was simply roller skating like usual near her home on Terraza and Glenmont. When she returned to her car parked in her driveway to take off her skates, Salazar says that 28-year-old Daniel Calvillo approached her and demanded her cell phone. Salazar says Barrera threw the phone under the seat and Calvillo shot her in the head and fled in a black Chevy HHR being driven by 20-year-old Kiana Jones. Today, Barrera's peers unable to make sense of the deadly violence.
They're absolutely devastated. Many of them aren't here today because her loss was so great.
As for the suspected deadly duo, Salazar believes they had never even met Barrera before. They were later apprehended at a traffic stop. Calvillo now facing charges, including capital murder. Jones may also be slapped with capital murder.
It was really tough simply because we got the call about 30 minutes before students started arriving for the day.
Though now physically absent, those at Barrera's school say her ambitious soul will always be present. And this evening, a memorial sits outside of Barrera's locker, just another sign that she was deeply loved by her peers and will be sorely missed. She was supposed to graduate in May, and we're told that that's still going to happen posthumously. Deven Clarke, KSAT 12 News.